Today is a PJ kind of day, so I thought what better time to be talking about all the books that I did not finish in 2023. We still have a few more days for the month, but it's fine. I don't think I'm going to DNF the books I'm currently reading. So it is one of my mission. It has been one of my mission to learn to put down books when I'm not enjoying them and recognizing patterns for it. And also I've been trying to declutter my bookshelves because you can see in the background, things are messy. Things are messy. And I'm really trying to get them to a point where they represent my taste and, again, recognizing the patterns so I can stop buying books that I'm not gonna enjoy. So I don't know yet how many books I did not finish this year. So yes, let's go through all of them in order and we're gonna see if I can find some patterns and then I can, you know, hopefully not have to do that as much in the future. Okay, in January of this year, I DNF'd 9 books. This is, I think, my highest month because in January I started doing my newest challenge, which is my Read It or Unhaul It challenge. If you haven't seen that, it's been a lot, but it's basically me trying to get to all the unread books on my shelf to get them, you know, curated to only have things I love. And I grabbed purposely 6 of them that were YA, sci-fi, and fantasy that I had been on there for years and years and years, and I just wanted to give them a shot before getting rid of them because personally I can't get rid of a book without at least trying it. It's just, I sleep better, okay, once I just give it a shot and then I can get rid of it and move on with my life. So 6 of them, I don't even have the names here. I might put them on the screen so you can see them, but 6 of them that I had a feeling I wasn't going to enjoy. I tried the first chapter of a couple of one just to see. I remember one of them, is it the 1,000th floor or something, that the first chapter ends on a cliffhanger where the girl is in love with her brother. I'm assuming they're not blood related, but you know, it kind of goes to show you the kind of reasons I was like, yeah, no, I'm over that. Like, these little tropes, not my thing anymore. So, not that it really ever was, but you know, the YA ones that are very, very YA cringy. So yes, got rid of 6 of them in one go. Very satisfying of a cleanup. And then the other 3 that I got rid of, the first one is Leftover in China, which is about leftover women, the phenomenon of women who pass the age, I don't remember, is it 25, 30, the whole patriarchal fun stuff. And I really was intrigued to learn more about that specific topic. Unfortunately, as I was listening to the audiobook, I realized this is a white woman. And I wanted to hear about the topic from like an own voice kind of situation, so I put it down. Nothing like offensive happened, it's just that I want to hear about that topic from a Chinese woman, not a white woman. So there's that. And then I also did not finish You Are a Badass, which is a nonfiction. This was actually part of my official first Read It or Unhaul It. This was a nonfiction that had been on my shelf forever. A friend actually gifted that one to me because she loves self-help. She's mostly gotten over that phase, by the way. We've always been teasing each other, and that's my favorite topic because she was constantly in that like self-help circle, vicious circle. Nothing was ever improving. It's just like false hope motivation. In her case, some of them actually help, but this is just grifting crap, in my opinion. I did not make it very far, and then I have been since learning a lot that the author is very questionable. So yeah, I had issues with it very quickly, as you may remember from the vlog. So I moved on, got rid of that already. And then I also DNF'd All the Dangerous Things, which, to be honest, if it wasn't written there, I would know. I tried this one as an audiobook apparently, and it's a mystery thriller. That's all I remember. So I think I need to learn to do that more often with mystery thrillers because, quite frankly, a lot of them I don't end up caring. Like the popular ones that I'll see on list, I am finally getting to a point that I'm accepting that they don't work for me, and that's okay. Like, I might as well just put them down and focus on other ones and hopefully find some that do work. So yeah, that's the first 9 in 1 month. February, I DNF'd 1. So that's more reasonable, and it was the second book in the Dark Tower series by Stephen King that was also part of my Read It or Unhaul It. That challenge has been really good for me. This was also put down very quickly. Long story short, I had the first 4 books in that series, which I've learned to stop doing that, by the way, just buying the whole series when I see it. I buy most of my books used, and this one was back in the day when the library sales were 4 books for $1, so I got 4. And I read the first one, absolutely hated it. Read it anyway because the hype. I haven't read a book like that in forever, it feels like, but just you read it and you absorb nothing because what the hell is going on? It's so vague, badly written, and the author has since come out and said himself that it was badly written, so don't come for me. I think he wrote it when he was like 18 or something, so yeah, I hated it, and I told myself for years that I was going to continue because everyone is always saying, it gets so much better. It never does, and yeah, I put down the second book super quickly, and I got rid of all of them. So we've moved on. In March, I also put down one book, and it was The Redemption of Time. Oh, was this also during my Read It or Unhaul It? If so, that is the best challenge that has happened to me. This was a follow-up to the, is it The Remembrance of Earth's Past or something? The three-body problem. There you go. I feel like people know the first book in that series more. This is becoming a TV show, right? I am skeptical because that show is like, that book is so complicated, super intense astrophysics concepts, first contact with alien, brilliant, however extremely misogynistic. It was hard to look past, but I did it because, again, mind-blowing concepts. And this book is like a follow-up, but I didn't realize when I got it that it was written by someone else, like basically a fan, and then it was approved by the author. I don't remember the exact story, but I did not make it. Oh, actually, I made it 50%, I think, because it's the follow-up to the book, and no spoilers, but like things end like kind of weirdly because it gets so intense, and the follow-up had no interest, so I didn't finish it. In April, I put down two books. The first one was, ooh, probably the most controversial in this whole video, Lessons in Chemistry. In theory, this book should have been one of my all-time favorite. It feels like it's like historical fiction. You have this woman who wants to become a chemist, a famous one, and she is struggling with, you know, motherhood and like marriage and like patriarchal society. Like, it feels like I should have liked this, but I really didn't care for it, and I was listening to it as an audiobook too, and I feel like it's usually more forgiving because you don't have to be actively reading. It's pretty passive, and I couldn't do it. I was bored. I was just not interested. So I know it's a TV show also, and I'm not interested because I just couldn't finish the book. The next one is All the Living and the Dead, which, okay, that book is a nonfiction, and on the cover it says more. Let me just Google that because, again, it sounds like it should be really cool. This is From Embalmers to Executioner, an exploration of the people who have made death their life's work. Okay, I've been really trying to read more nonfiction, and I feel like there are so many interesting topics that you can get like little introduction to topics, and they can be fun, even though obviously it's about serious stuff, but it could be fun. And unfortunately, for some reason, I didn't vibe with the author. I hate saying it that way, but like, that's the best way to explain it. I feel like sometimes nonfiction, the author is included in the book, like they're showing you that they're exploring that topic, and it can be easily a deal breaker if you somehow find yourself disliking them. It's sounding really harsh. And again, I listened to it as an audiobook, so I feel like I don't have the quotes. So if you've recently read this and you felt similarly, please confirm in the comment section. I'm not the only one, because I just could not do it. I couldn't do it. So I put it down really believing I was going to pick it up again, and I just never did. So yeah, it seems to be really an unpopular opinion because the rating is really high on Goodreads, but I couldn't finish it. So part of me is still wondering if I should try it again, but I didn't like it. So I didn't put down any books in May and June. I don't know how, but cool. However, I did put down 6 in July. I kind of did it on purpose because it was both times kind of a Read It on Holiday. That challenge, it's been really helping me. The first one, it was from the jar. I didn't show you the jar. Oh, it's not in this room. I'm doing my Read It and Haul It for December at the moment, and it's in the other room because I keep having to late at night pick up another book. So there's that. But that month specifically was intense. The first book I put down was Outliers, and the author, I don't remember his name. Is it Malcolm Madwell? Something Madwell? Anyway, I am gonna be honest, and I was getting kind of grifter vibes from him in general, and I have since learned more things about him. We're gonna come back to that, but I feel like his stories were like kind of good vibe. Are they really based on anything serious? Who knows? But like, I get why people like them. Like, if you're stuck waiting like in a waiting room reading them, they're fine. Like, they're short stories, whatever. But I don't really care. We're just gonna go with that. But I have since seen an interview of him during the Panini being like, oh, people need to go back to working in the office, they're lazy, while being extremely privileged and having never worked in the office. Like, dude. Anyway, don't feel bad about putting it down. I'm not planning on reading more by the author because F all of that. The next book I put down is In the Woods, which that one I'm really sad. This is by Tana French. I was really looking forward to reading that series because I had heard, again, so much hype. Since then, a lot of you told me that they're not super linked and I could pick up book 2, which I might, we'll see. But book 1, I couldn't do it. I only read, I think, the first chapter, but it was like 30, 50 pages or something. And I included in that video, once again, so many quotes. You can see how bad it was. And I believe it's on purpose. Like the main character is awful. But I have been having like on and off a reading slump. And I'm going to be honest, my bullshit meter for sexism is just so low nowadays. I am so tired of all the excuses that I can't do it anymore. So I put down books really quickly. And I'm okay with this because I feel like it has increased my enjoyment. I'm reading for fun. Like, I don't want to read about this. I just don't. And that's okay. So it's, you know, about me, myself, and I, and this wasn't doing it. I put it down. I have no regrets, again, from everything I've heard about the book in general. But yes, a lot of you told me I probably should try book 2. I might not. Part of me is like, it never gets better. Why would you do this? But then I do own the book still. What do I don't know. We'll see. Maybe next year, maybe not. And then I also put down M is for Malice, which I got awful picky vibes from the main character, in the sense that I'm feeling very defensive. I'm like always telling you, wait. I feel like we were meant to like her, but I couldn't stand her, and then a bunch of other things happened as far as I remember. That was in July, but still, I'm not mad that I got rid of it, so whatever. And then I purposely gave myself the challenge to read some of the books that I had heard questionable things, either from the authors or most likely the content that you told me I was going to hate. And I hadn't bought them on purpose. It's just that the hype, I had, you know, accumulated them, and you have since told me that, knowing my taste, I probably wouldn't like them. So I wanted to get rid of them, but in order to do that, part of me feels like I have to give them a shot. So that's what I did for the vlog. It was very entertaining, I'll give you that. And I got rid of 3 books. So the first one was Stormfront by Jim Butcher. The main character is awful, but I think it feels like he's written to be like, oh yeah, he's awful, but like in a cheeky way. Like, he's likable, and no, he's not. No, he's not. So at the moment, I put it down 100 pages into it, and at that point, I think we had been introduced to like 4 female characters who were basically all sexy lamps. Like, I just couldn't do it. So I put it down, and then I attempted 1Q84 by Murakami. Murakami and me, if you've seen my worst books of 2022, we're not on good terms. I explained in length how I felt about Norwegian Wood. I was not planning on reading more by him, but then I realized I had this book on my shelf. It's so popular. I've seen that spine specifically everywhere, and I wanted to try it just so I can say that never again. And it's most likely going to make it to my worst books of the year because it was awful very, very quickly. Like, I remember specifically, YouTube hates when I talk about him, but I remember specifically the main female character. Like, I read the first 3 chapters in that vlog. It's like 30 pages. And she is going down literally like, initial, whatever the term is in English. Anyway, she's going down there and she's reminiscing over her first lesbian encounter. But she's not a lesbian. Like, where's that coming from? And then a lot of you told me more of the spoilers, which I requested. And I don't think this is really a spoiler, but there's another, because that was my complaint in Norwegian Wood. There's another essay scene with a 13-year-old girl where in both cases they are the ones doing it. Like, basically attacking the proof. Like, it just... One time was awful. Twice? And you guys support him? I don't know. I never want to be in the same room with one of his books ever again. So there's that. August. Put down 2 books. The first one was... Oh, He Who Drowned the World. That one I was sad. I put it down like really quickly once again, 10%. Part of me is still kind of considering, because the first book, She Who Became the Sun, had so much potential. Like, part 1 of that book was a 5-star. I was so happy, and then things got weird. And I just lost interest. So yeah, that gesture is there for a reason. People who know, they know. And yeah, no. And then oh my god, that one was sad also. City of Brass. Every year I do what I call my pile of shame, which is the pile of books that I started but want to continue. Which I feel like this was kind of the prequel to me trying to learn to put down books. But I tried for the second, third time City of Brass. And I made it 50% into it and I lost interest, and that's, yeah, I'm officially done with it. It's popular, people love it, but I just can't do it. I get really bored, it's too long. So yeah, nothing had happened. September, October, none? I feel like I might be forgetting some. In November, I did put down Wayward. I believe I was 18% into it. I feel like I'm really reducing the amount. I used to only like put it down if I had tried 50%, and like I feel like this year I really brought it down, which I'm really happy about. And yeah, I don't know, I couldn't focus on the audiobook. I was getting weird vibes, and a lot of you told me that there was a lot of like problematic content later on, and I'm glad I just never got there. So no hard feelings. And then I'm currently doing, like I said, my read it and haul it, which this video is going to go up after. I'll purposely put it after because I've put down 2 books so far. The first one being Luna, which frankly, this is where I'm telling you, I am so tired of any kind of like things that annoy me. So I'm putting down books really quickly, which is good because again, I'm cleaning up my shelves and I'm just reading for entertainment. I don't find it entertaining. This one was really boring in the sense that, like, you know when you try a new sci-fi, like there's just a bunch of words that don't mean anything to you and you're like, oh my god, I need to focus. That can be fine, you know, when things pick up, but first sentence is about undressed teenagers, which I was like, okay, we're going there right away. And I think it's page 2 where they're talking about job, which I'm like, why am I learning about that, about teenagers, the second page of your book, dude? Like, am I overreacting? Maybe, honestly. I feel like sometimes when I describe these things, I'm sounding like a prude, but like, why? I don't know. Again, my limit is very low now. And then the second one I put down was On a Pale Horse, which I had picked it up because the rating is really good and I was seeing it on a list of like really interesting premises. And then I've heard since bad reviews, but I didn't remember when I started it. And the premise is really cool because you're following main character ends up killing death and then he's forced to do that job. So it sounds, of course I want to read that. That's really cool, but it's so freaking sexist. Super quickly, again, I put it down. I feel like I was also about 30 pages into it. I don't remember. I just filmed it and I don't remember. But at that point, 3 female characters, well, one of them was on the billboard, to be honest, but 3 female characters, and again, 3 sexy lamps. Like one of them very specifically, the guy, basically the first scene is him entering this store where the salesman is trying to sell him some stones. It's like futuristic, but also kind of magical fantasy anyway. Selling him stones, one of them being a love stone, and it looks that he's about to fall in love, but he decides to go for the wealth stone instead. And the salesman is like, well, I want your love story because I'm not gonna get one. So let's find your love and then I'm gonna steal her from you, which is gonna work because apparently this woman can fall in love with absolutely anyone just like that. Anyway, that was the first scene. I'm like, ooh. And the writing style was not great either. So I was like, let me just Google some reviews. And then I saw the reviews. People were saying cool concepts, just awful author. Like it just apparently gets worse and worse. I was like, do I want to do that to myself? So I put it down. I don't know if I will change my mind or not. Feel free to convince me in the comment section. But the reviews I've seen were pretty convincing. So I decided, let's become something else, and so far I'm enjoying it more, so, which is what matters, really. At the end of the day, like, I'm not here to, like, satisfy everyone else. Like, this is just me sharing my experience, right? I'm not telling everyone to do exactly what I'm doing. It's just, I'm trying not to torture myself all the time. Sometimes it's funny, but not every time. So that's it. How many is that? Let me calculate. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, 13, 14, 15, 24? 24. I really feel like I'm missing some, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. So, you know, over 20, I think that it's about the amount that I've been doing year after year. This is my 2nd or 3rd year that I'm doing that, and I am so happy. Like, whole excuses justifying to people or not, ultimately, I am feeling better and better about my reading because of that. I feel like the number is this high because I'm cleaning up my shelves. Because I feel like the ones that I've picked up randomly from the library, for example, I haven't been putting them down that often because I'm usually enjoying them at least enough that it doesn't feel like that, you know? I feel like most of the worst ones that I've read this year or put down this year were books that had been on my shelf for years. And because I buy most of my books used, it tends to be a bit more hit and miss, but mostly I feel like the ones that I've been trying and putting down are the ones that I had purchased because I had seen them on lists before I knew my taste better. Which is basically the whole point, right? I'm basically learning my taste and trying to get to a moment where I don't have 50 million books on my shelf that I'm feeling so about. I'm basically thinking about my sci-fi shelves. I think I have a lot of like classic sci-fi and sci-fi that I've seen on the list of like must read. It was the same thing with fantasy, although I've been going through that list a lot. And I'm just realizing that maybe the people, and by people I mean dudes, that are writing these lists don't really have the same taste as me. And that's okay. And hopefully by me going through this, I'm avoiding you having to go through this, or at least you can be prepared when you do go through it. I think these are my main lessons for 2023. Learning to put down books faster and faster. I feel like I'm definitely doing that. And I definitely want to continue decluttering my shelves. But I'm feeling really satisfied. I feel like I've been really doing super good. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Would love to hear your thoughts. Do you put down books? Is that something you're working on? Is that something that you're feeling more motivated to do? I feel like the older I get, the more I'm like, F all of this, which I'm really happy about. I feel like that's something that we all need to learn, and would love to hear if you have a list. Which books are you putting down? Are you doing it more? Do you notice patterns? Because that's my favorite thing. Statistics, noticing patterns. So yes, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up, subscribe. We'll put more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out. I'm gonna include the ones that were really shocking in my Read It or Unhaul It so you can see them in action with the quotes. That way I feel like it sounds more reasonable when you can see the reasons I put down the books. And I will see you very soon. Bye.